For my people that have been trying to get on as a medical courier and you're stuck on some company's waiting list, or you're just not getting any calls or emails back, this video is for you. I'm going to be walking you through how to get direct contracts. You're cutting out the middleman. You don't have to go through those companies and get hired as a driver for them. Instead, you can secure contracts directly with the clinics, the labs, the pharmacies, all right, and secure your bag, an even bigger bag at that, just by taking matters into your own hands. So my people that are ready to run it up, you're tired of sitting around waiting, this one is for you.
Hello, honey bun.
Hello, my honey buns. It's your gal Lou, or you can call me Miss Honey. And so today I am going to give you a full deep dive into direct contracts as a medical courier. All right, so direct contracts is going to be a bit different than some of the previous videos. However, this is the perfect way to really truly run it up. And this is foolproof. So even right now, with so many companies being totally booked up or overstaffed, you will have the opportunity to make this money. All right, we're going to talk about the money that you can make. All right, you can really run it up with this. I'm talking about you can be making six figures. You can have a six-figure salary doing direct contracts. A lot of people are asleep on direct contracts or just simply not about that life. But this one right here, this one is for my hustlers. Okay, so if you are a hustler, you're a road runner, and you're ready to run it up, this is the video for you. And of course, as always, for anyone that's new to this video or new to the world of medical couriers and don't know exactly what it is, long story short, a medical courier transports important medical items. All right, and this could be anything from pharmaceuticals, okay, so prescriptions, it could be lab specimens, it can be important tools and things of that sort, just a range of medical items that need to be transported to facilities, clinics, doctors' offices, hospitals, you name it. All right, and so you know, in the previous videos we spoke about medical courier gigs through these different companies and apps that are constantly hiring for drivers. All right, now with direct contracts, it's a little bit different. Basically, you're cutting out the middleman and you're going straight to the source and getting contracts with them, whether this be hospitals, pharmacies, labs. That contract is going to be with them directly. And there's many benefits to being under a direct contract, and we're going to get into all of that. For one, you won't be competing in a marketplace. All right, so the chances of you securing something is a lot easier and higher probability versus right now with the market being oversaturated, as I have seen y'all talk about. And it's true, so many people are finding out about this type of work through social media, through videos like this. And so yes, the market has become quite saturated. However, a lot of people are still going straight to the gig apps. They're going to the companies that are hiring. They are not securing those direct contracts. And so that's where you're going to come in and get your bag. All right, and not only that, but you're able to get more, okay, because you've cut the middleman out of this whole process. And you can definitely be making over $2,500 a week, okay? Not unrealistic for you to be bringing in $500 a day, working 5 days a week. That is very realistic numbers with the direct contracts. And I want you to look at this as a business and understand that with any business, it's about how you run it and it's about scaling. And so for my people that are just getting started, I'm not saying don't shoot for the stars, but give yourself room to grow. Maybe don't start off expecting to be pulling or bringing in six figures immediately right off the bat. Set yourself some realistic, reasonable goals for you, and then see how you're doing, how much load you can truly take on, how many days you're willing to work, how many hours you're willing to put in. And then from there, you can start to set higher goals and scale up. But what you don't want to do is burn yourself out. And that's whether you're doing direct contracts, or even, you know, working for one of these other companies. However you're doing it, you don't want to burn out. So you do want to give yourself that room and that leeway to grow. All right, so now I want to get into how exactly are you going to land these contracts. This is one of the most important parts of the video right here. So get you a pen and pad, you know, a notebook, however, whatever you're using, get it, because securing the contracts is one of the most important things about it. We can talk all day long, but you got to get the contract secured. All right, so first things first, you want to research your market and understand it. So identify hospitals, labs, imaging centers, clinics, and pharmacies near you. You need to know them like the back of your hand. You need to know what is in your area. You know, what hospitals, what clinics, what labs, what pharmacies. Know them, figure it out. And possibly, depending on where you live, you might need to branch out to another area that has more options. You can use online directories, health system supplier portals, or procurement sites. Also, you want to monitor RFPs or bids for your area. And definitely take a look at some guides. There's many guides available online that will walk you through and give you so many additional tips on how to secure contracts. And you can actually click the link in my bio, and I have a guide there as well that will walk you through securing contracts as much as possible. But all right, now you also want to understand compliance and requirements. Once again, like we went over in the previous videos or in my medical courier blueprint ebook, you have to be compliant. And especially with these direct contracts, if you want to secure these contracts, you want to show up with it. Like, you want to show up with all of your ducks in a row, all of your T's, the whole 9 yards, okay? So you want to make sure that you have your HIPAA certification. You want to make sure that you have your bloodborne pathogen certification. You want to show up with that. You want to have your insurance, okay? And now also, a lot of these facilities will require some additional things as well. They may require chain of custody policies, temperature logs, security protocols, and of course the background checks. And you'll be able to go over that with them as well, because some of these things will depend on what type of company you're working with, in terms of whether or not it's a lab, a clinic, or, you know, a biology lab, things of that sort. Now, another amazing thing about doing direct contracts is typically you can set your own rates. You can actually decide your per stop fees, per mile fees, rush or after hours charges as well. I would definitely suggest that you look into local market rates, just so that you see how much people are charging in the area around you or the market that you plan on working in. And you can even set up your own tiers, so you can offer standard rates, rush, and overnight. And you want to have some proposals and bids written out. In your proposals, you want to include your credibility. So any credentials, any insurance that you have, certifications, experience, all of that you want to have listed in your proposals, so that these companies can see your worth. And let's say you've never been a medical courier before. Let's say for whatever reason, you're one of those people where you've been trying to get in, but you found it hard getting hired at one of these companies. So you're just skipping all that and going straight to direct contracts. I will say it's a little bit easier if you already have the experience, but don't lose hope. Even if you don't have that experience already, let's say you've done any other delivery driving, whether that's for packages through FedEx, Amazon, UPS, or you've done food delivery, you can include that under your credentials. You have experience delivering time-sensitive items, whether that be food or packages. You've done it. Use that experience. If you've worked in the medical field at all, use that experience. Don't lose hope if you are trying to go straight to direct contract without actually working through other companies first. Also, have you some reliable professional references. If you have some people that can vouch for you and that know how to talk that talk, put them down as a reference as well. And then there's so many templates and models online available that you can use that can help you to structure your proposals. If you check that link in my description, you will see in my Medical Courier direct contract ebook, I'll have templates in there that you can take directly from that ebook and just fill them in and use them also. After you have your pricing and your proposals ready, you want to go ahead and start networking and doing cold outreach. So after you have everything ready to go, I am talking about you have your proposals, you have your pricing set. Now it's time to start networking, okay? You want to outreach, you want to go ahead and start contacting. Call lab managers, procurement, and supply chain departments, okay? You want to talk to the big dogs. It's time for you to talk to the big dogs because they're the ones that you want to really get in touch with to secure these contracts. Attend medical, logistics, or even health industry events. All right, by you attending these events, you're able to network. You know, this is very old school, but you could even get you some business cards made where you have your credentials, you have your information listed on there, how to get in touch with you, whether it's a professional email address, you have a phone number, and that you offer direct contract medical delivery services, okay, or medical courier services. I know this is an unpopular opinion. I'm not a huge fan of LinkedIn, but LinkedIn is definitely another place that you can network for sure. All right, now you can start with small contracts. Say for instance, you propose a trial period, so maybe like 30 to 60 days to prove reliability. And so when you reach out to them, you're gonna say, listen, you know, we can give this a shot for maybe 30 to 60 days. You can see how well my services are and how we work together, and then go from there. That way, it's not a super long-term commitment, but it's a chance for you to prove yourself. And if you do well within that time frame, 9 times out of 10, they're going to want to continue doing business with you and working with you. And from there, you're able to really kind of build and earn your stripes and show that you're actually good for your word. You're good for doing this type of work. I know I've given you all so much information, so I do just want to go ahead and do a checklist really quick so that we understand what it is that we're doing. First things first, market research. Research the market around you, the clinics, the labs. Research the pricing and rates that people are charging. And you want to focus on compliance, which is making sure that you have all your certifications necessary, making sure that you have your insurance ready, your car is reliable, all of those things. Something else that I do want to mention in this video that I go more in depth about in the direct contract playbook is getting your LLC and EIN. So by you actually getting that established, this will not only show your seriousness, it will allow you to look a bit more credible and truly give you that necessary legal structure to scale up and create a true business out of your direct contracts being a medical courier. So I definitely recommend getting your LLC. Now what I will say is you can still start out and give this whole thing a shot without getting an LLC. So if you're not ready to make that commitment yet or that investment in the LLC and EIN, you can start out as a sole proprietorship, and this structure doesn't necessarily offer the same liability protection, but you can typically still get a contract secured. Third, you want to focus on pricing. So you want to focus on setting your rates. What are your rates going to be? How much are you charging? Fourth, you want to start focusing on your proposal, okay? This is going to be your pitch. This is going to be what really gets you these direct contracts. So take time and hone in on your proposal, perfect it, critique it, make sure that it is going to be able to stand next to other proposals and win. After that, you want to work on outreach. You want to start contacting these companies. All right, then we're going to pilot. We're going to start with small contracts, okay? So pitch those 30 to 60 day models like, hey, I'm willing, I can do this work for you for 30 to 60 days and do a little trial run. After that, you want to focus on scaling. That's when you're able to raise those prices up a bit. That's when you're able to secure more contracts after you've, got your feet wet, got that experience under your belt, proved yourself to one company. Then you can kind of start reaching out and securing more contracts. So now let's go over a few more compliance details, because compliance is extremely important, and especially when you are doing direct contracts, some of the liability that the companies would have been taking, you're now taking because you're self-employed. You're working directly with the main source. So you don't have that extra backing or security coming from, say for instance, drop off. You won't have drop off to cover your behind, pretty much. So you'll want to make sure that you get you some commercial vehicle insurance, general liability, and cargo insurance for sensitive items, depending on what type of load you're going to be getting in. Then you want to, of course, secure that HIPAA certification like we spoke about previously. Get your chain of custody protocols. Vehicle requirements. All right, I feel like I don't always go too deep into vehicle requirements when I talk about medical courier jobs, just because some companies' requirements are a little bit different than others. But what I will say is, you want a reliable vehicle. You can do this in a sedan. However, the bigger the better, baby. If you can get you a little cargo van or SUV, that is going to be so much better for you, because you can fit more in it, okay? And of course, you don't want a car that's too old, that's breaking down left and right. It's just not gonna work. And you also want to be ready for compliance audits. So there are times where you may be audited by the client, regulatory bodies, or the lab, and errors can mess you up big time. And when I say errors, I'm talking about damage to samples and things of that sort. This could void your contracts out and make you lose out on money and jobs, okay? And also it could ruin your reputation. So keep that in mind and stay on top of your P's and Q's. You also want to do your research for your local area and ensure that you are up to date on all the necessary permits that you're going to need, and local state regulations or requirements for transporting medical materials or biohazards. You also want to have use of data and tracking systems, okay? So of course you're going to need GPS. That's a no-brainer. You're going to need GPS to get to and from. Electronic logs, proof of delivery, POD tools, you're going to need that, and possibly APIs for clients. And these are all things that can be found online. Okay, now I just want to give y'all a few more tips, and then we're gonna wrap it on up. So route planning, efficiency, and scaling are going to be your best friends when it comes to making money with these direct contracts. Now, these are things typically that when you're working for some of these companies, as their employee, they're taking care of most of that for you. As a direct contract, a lot of that is going to fall on you to really maximize your profits. So you want to be on 10 toes when it comes to this. Make sure you're zoning your runs. Combine your pickups and deliveries in geographic clusters. So make sure that it's making sense. You can even use route optimization software. There's a lot of courier and logistic apps that support batching. Work in shift blocks. So create blocks for yourself, whether that's morning shifts, midday shifts, night shifts. Have you some backup drivers or a backup vehicle if possible. I know it's not always possible, but if you can have some some backup, that's going to help you as well. Once your volume starts increasing, and I'm talking about you are out here securing contracts, baby, hire people. Get people working for you. This is when you are scaling it and turning it into, it's already a real business when it's just you, but you're able to get this business to the point where you have employees working for you, taking these jobs for you. All right, y'all. So there's so much to this, but I gave you the gist of it, okay? I gave you the meat and potatoes in this video. I don't want to overwhelm you or overload you with information, all right? But you have the necessary information to get started. Once you choose your area, get your vehicle ready, insured, cleaned up, maintained, all your maintenance done on that vehicle, and you have your compliance in order, you have your certifications, draft that proposal and those contract templates, and start reaching out. reach out to at least 5 labs starting out. I say 5 to 10. I mean, and this can be 5 to 10 labs. You can do clinics, medical offices. Send that proposal and follow up by phone. All right. Now, if you feel like you need more information, definitely check out the link in the description of the video. You are going to find that information there. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Be sure to give this video a hype this video up so it can reach more people. Like, subscribe, share, comment, all those good things. And I'll see y'all next time.